Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another series of interviews. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nushin, and I have a passion for mind, body, spirit connection and union. And inside of this passion, I create many events so we can have this conversation in our daily life. And with this new series, I'm interviewing female spiritual leaders. What I mean by spiritual, I know this word is thrown out every day, everywhere, but what I mean by spiritual is the person, he or she, is actually living their life through the spirit, like guided spirit, not logically and mentally. No, yes, we are not this physical body, we have a soul, but actually experiencing life through the guided spirit living. And for today's conversation, I'm so excited to introduce to you my beautiful friend, Christin Noble. Christine and we met many, many years ago while we were getting trained as a polarity practitioner. And since then, I'm blessed to have her in my life. And Christine performed many, many, many thousands of ceremonies, sacred ceremonies, as a medical intuitive medium. And she helps her clients for their optimal health and goals in their life. And she's an amazing artist. I will show you just a little bit of piece here, and I let her to introduce her work and what she does. Thank you, and I'm just so excited to have you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so honored that you asked me to do this and that you consider me a leader. I don't consider myself a leader, but I've done a lot of work on myself, and I've shared some of the miracles that I've seen unfold, through what I've done for myself, and then how I've helped other people to heal themselves, because we can only heal ourselves.
Yes.
We can only change ourselves. So I've been a practitioner for 13 years now. That's when we started.
Yes.
And, so I offer sacred healing ceremonies, and those go very deep, and they take some time, and they are meant to be profound and a one-time thing. And then I do my work as an artist, and I paint, and in the last year and a half started volunteering at an animal sanctuary. And so there are beautiful birds there, like what you see on Nushin's earrings. um, I collect those feathers after they're done using them and make beautiful artwork out of them. And it's just been so fun and so rewarding to, work with the animals and to care for them and give them a better life. And it's given me a better life. And then most recently, I became an online chat advisor, which I'm really loving too.
So would you explain a little bit more about that? Because I'm very, very excited to hear that the online chatting, because, we are just bombarded with the challenges in life and then know somebody's available online. Yeah. So how it works.
And things have changed to where, we're much more reliant on the computer now for anything from healthcare to shopping.
Mm-hmm.
An online chat advisor, basically, I'm an independent contractor, but I have a company that I use that offers varieties of advisors for any questions in the world that anyone could possibly have.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time it's called a psychic advisor. And I stay away from that word psychic because I think that we all are psychic to, there's like a spectrum and it's certain like degrees. And, I was fortunate to discover that I have the medical intuitive abilities and mediumship. So that means that some of my gifts incorporate health and also loved ones that have passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, like I said, that's on the spectrum, and I don't use that word psychic, but I feel that we all are, and I would say almost all of my clients already know the answer to the question before they ask. And it's more about, that validation, or like, is my intuition and what I'm thinking in my gut, is that right?
Yeah.
And it's always nice to have somebody that we can go to that can, my husband calls it a sanity check. Am I crazy, or is this happening? And it's like, no, you're not crazy. Yes, it is happening.
When we are like tuning in.
Right. Yeah.
That's
Like a radio station or an antenna.
exactly.
With someone's permission, I can tune into their energy field and get a sense for the energy of what's going on. Sometimes it can get really specific details, but it's more about the energy of a situation.
Mhm.
So if somebody wants to know about a relationship, which a lot of times it's questions about relationships. They want to know, is this person going to stay with me, or is this person coming back? Things like that.
Mhm. Okay. So you mentioned that, relationship is one area. So who's a good candidate that they find your work effective for whatever they are dealing with?
It depends on which area. Like if they're looking to raise vibration, all three are something that could work. If somebody wants to do really deep, very meaningful spiritual work, then I would say that's the type of person that would benefit from having a sacred ceremony. If someone is looking to raise the vibration of their home, and then I would, or their space or their person, then I would steer them more toward my artwork. And then if somebody has like more daily questions, or more kind of the details of life kind of questions, then I would say more of a chat advisor, or somebody that you can go to more often, because as the ceremonies, that's a one and done. And it's meant to be like a birthday, but it's one that you create yourself. And the intention is to have a death and a rebirth through process. So that's more intense. That takes several hours. They start at 3 hours and can go up to 5, depending on the level of depth we want to go.
And is it private one-to-one, or is in a circle, in a group?
Everything's private, where it's just between us. Mm-hmm.
Are you using any medium like cacao or any other plant medicine, or is just through your own energy?
That's a really good question. It depends on the individual person. Some people definitely do funnel more towards wanting medicine, and I open that up to where, if that's something that they want to do. I don't offer the peyote ceremonies any longer. The Navajo Indian chief that I worked with passed away last year, so I don't have access to that anymore. But some people do a shot of tequila. It really just, some people don't want anything. It really just depends on the person, but absolutely that can alter consciousness in a positive way, so that the ego can get out of the way and we can really do some real work.
Yes, that's oh my gosh, that ego, that thing. So
that
thing, yeah. If you don't mind, I would love for you to let us know what took you to where you are right now, because I know we are all journeying, and we all many times doubt ourselves and the life path that we are going through, and the life is just like throwing that, no, you're not going that way, you're going to go this way, and how to listen and how to really navigate. If you would just share your part of the story.
I would say that my spiritual journey really started in 2004. I had lost another job, which I'd actually lost many jobs, and just felt like every time I tried to find my way in life, that it failed quite miserably. So I ended up getting my brain scanned and got on some medications, and then those medications weren't working, so they kept adding on more medications. And so I ended up losing a doctor that was prescribing a drug that I had become dependent on. And so I ended up committing prescription fraud and became a felon. And I faced prison time. And that part of my story is, to me, like a really dark period in my life, but it's also, it gave me the opportunity to go to the light, because I was surrounded by darkness and feeling very, just very dark in general. And so through this process, I got off all the medications, and that's when I discovered that I have these highly intuitive abilities, and the medications were actually suppressing my intuitive gifts. And that was quite interesting, because I could, when we were in school, I could see things or hear things going on in people's bodies, and I just thought it was strange, that something was really wrong with me. And I remember I asked this woman, I said, why do I keep seeing gumball machines? And she said, I have gumball machines all over my house. I am addicted to them. I'm obsessed with them. I have them everywhere. And it started to get more serious when I picked up on like a serious illness that somebody had. And I went to one of the instructors at school and I said, I think something's wrong with me. And they laughed and they said, you're a medical intuitive. And I'm like, what is that? And they explained that it's, somebody that can pick up on these specific things intuitively. And I was like, what do I do? And they said, it's a gift. And I said, can I exchange it for something else? Because it was just, it was very overwhelming. And I could hear people's bodies talking to me everywhere I went. People's loved ones that had passed away were constantly like trying to get me to get messages. And I had to learn how to handle it all and to allow it to become a gift, because it was a curse in the beginning in a way, just because I wasn't, used to dealing with it anymore. But through those experiences, I realized all the things that I had done wrong. And so, part of my teaching journey is, find out what you want in life, but also you need to figure out what you don't want as well. And, some of that we do have to go through on our own, but some of it, I'd like to at least help prevent people from having to suffer as long as I did, because I didn't understand that we all do have this spirituality that nobody really talks about. And we are connected to nature, even though we're taught that we're above nature or separate from it. So that's kind of a long answer, but to an even longer story. And I hope I covered everything, because like just getting to where I am now is about, experience and learning. I call it being more seasoned.
Yes, and I'm so appreciating that you shared your story, because I get, I've worked with some autistic children, and I see that how society, parents, not knowingly, they just want to drug them and
Right.
some medicine, and just I know in my scope of work I am nobody to say do this or do that or not do it. So but I can see that the different vibration of that child causes a lot of miscommunication. And the only thing parents want is just to put them in a corner so they don't have to deal with it. And
Right.
then hopefully, there are so many other ways that they can find their way. And as you were explaining, just putting the drug, and then, yes, thank God, it took you through to your darkness to find your light, because that's my complete belief that every darkness that we are experiencing has a light to it, and there is a bringing some light for us and for everybody around us. But having somebody experience as you or many mediums, or as you said, I don't want to use the psychic, but that's another word that's being thrown out there.
Mhm.
There are so many people that they are gifted, and then having the experience of those people, at least we can navigate a little bit more. And I'm so excited. That's why I'm having these conversations, because it's become more and more acceptable. Like, that many years ago, even 10 years ago, you and I
Right.
were just getting trained, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago. Even that time wasn't like, what's polarity? Right. And still,
Right.
I have to explain to so many of my clients that this is polarity, but
Yeah.
at least is more acceptable that, okay, there is another way to explore life and our illnesses or our healing. And yes, we are in a journey.
Right. I totally agree with that. I used to have to explain what Reiki is, and I love that I really don't have to tell people what that is anymore. But
Yeah.
at the time, that was something I'd never even heard that word before. I had to look it up. And the word Reiki actually translates to universal life force.
Yeah.
And I mean, that activated my DNA in such a way. It was extremely profound. And I wept the entire 3 days of that course.
Mhm.
And I remember being in the bathroom at Sweha, and I overheard these girls talking, and one of them says, "What's wrong?" And the other one says, "I don't get it." She's like, "This whole energy thing and vibration and feeling." She goes, "I don't get it." And she goes, "I'm not like the crying girl over there that's having this deep spiritual awakening." And I realized she was talking about me.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But it's like, it is different for everybody. And don't feel discouraged if your journey doesn't look like anyone's, because it's not supposed to.
Yes.
That's one of the big things is it is becoming more, I don't know, normal to
Acceptable. Yes.
vibration, or just even saying vibes, and people, they know what that means, which I love that.
We have the T-shirt. Only good vibes.
Sure. Oh,
Right?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
And you mentioned something, I just want to make sure I clarify for the listeners that you said Suiha. It's Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, for those of the people that, around the world, they're listening to this one and they don't know what that means. And I have a good memory that I think I never shared publicly. So to me, it's just like, whoa, do I want to share that?
Oh, yeah.
But yes, I would love to share that. In one of my Reiki courses, um, I was crying and I was shivering and I was just throwing up. It was just so intense for me. So one of the assistants of the instructor took me to another room and she asked me to lay down, and she put her hands on my feet and she told me that, you're being hung in the past life. And I was just like sobbing, because because I had the memories, I had the pain, but I never talked to anybody, and I didn't know that what I know is actually a thing. And when she told me, I was just like, oh, I still get chills. So I asked her that, how do you know? Because these things I know, but I never talk to anybody because I think, I don't want people to think that I'm crazy. And I'm
Right.
so happy that took me to polarity, to many energy work and the work that I chose to do. And I was completely guided, and I still am, Because if it was like Nushin, who am I to sit down and talk to you about all that? But it's completely guided that this conversation needs to come out. We need to talk about it because we have a lot of psyche and memory of the past life. And I don't mean for people to believe in past life or reincarnation. That's not what I'm talking about. But those people that they have these memories and they don't know what to do with it, there are so many great practices that we can go and deeper and then go within and see what's really there. And I'm so appreciating that we are having these conversations that, it can be, and that's my true intention and passion. This can be a daily life conversation. It's not something that only some people can talk about it. Yes, Reiki is known. Polarity is getting more awareness of it. And energy work is not something hidden anymore. Vibration, frequency, creation, manifestation is just like, everywhere right now. So I'm just so glad that we are having this conversation. So, and I can talk to you for hours and hours and hours. I would love for you to let us know more about your artwork and the work that you do with the birds and the sanctuary that you are helping them.
So that's one, golden advice that I would give to anybody that is in that dark place and feeling stuck. And, I was in that pit for a very long time. And I always gravitated toward jobs that I thought I would love. And even though I didn't end up loving them, one thing I really highly suggest is to follow your passion or do something that makes you smile, do something that fills your heart up, do something that you would do for free. No one would have to pay you for, no one would have to make you do it. And find something that is an outlet for, we all have this creative energy, and so many times that energy gets extinguished because it's very childlike and it's very fiery, and it doesn't fit into that box that you were talking about that our society thinks that we need to have, or that we need to be this type of person. And so, be you, be weird, whatever it is, find something, whatever it is that really just makes you smile. And it can be something small, maybe you have a pair of dice on your keychain, and every time you look at it, it makes you smile. That is one step toward creating that life that you want.
Find some outlet to get out.
Right. Find the outlet and plug in. Yeah. And I quit doing artwork because I had art projects going constantly as a child. It was one right after another. And I stopped doing that for decades. And when I reawakened that part of me, it really lifted my spirit. It's so much easier to smile now than it was before. But it's like, I feel like there's this deep sense of unworthiness, or like if we're not being what's considered I'm going to use air quotes, a productive member of society. It's a feeling of unworthiness, or, just this whole concept of being busy. And I feel like it's a trap, and it's almost addictive. Like people wear busy like it's a superhero cape. And, that's our system is not designed for the human spirit. And, the reason why I'm at where I'm at is because I already tried everything that I thought we were supposed to. And, the Western medicine and the prescription drugs and the therapy and all those things. And not that therapy isn't a great thing, because I do think that can be very helpful. It's just that there's still a stigma. There's more stigma attached to going to therapy than there is toward taking a poisonous chemical to trick your brain into not caring. Because the antidepressants, they've actually admitted that they don't really know what they do, but they don't do what they're designed for. And what I found when I was on the antidepressants, they didn't stop me from being depressed. They made it so that I didn't care as much that I was depressed.
Yeah.
Disconnected me from my heart and disconnected me from my feelings.
Yes. Yeah, one of the many of events I do is just come back to the senses. And coming back to your art is just like looking at this, it's beauty, right? So I think I mentioned to you, I still can smell them, like smell the nature, like coming back.
I love that too. That's hilarious.
Right? Coming back to our senses, because we are very, very powerful sensory beings, but
Right.
either through so many ways that you mentioned that we are just like numbing ourselves. And so creative art is another way to have that access to come out and play as a child.
That's a great way to put it. We are numbing ourselves. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we're basically cockroaches with feelings, but, you know, to deny those feelings, they don't go away. That's the thing. You know, when we bury the emotions, that's how, you know, it manifests itself as a disease.
Yes.
It's because we don't talk about our feelings, or because, you know, it's not socially acceptable to cry in front of people, or things like that. You know, I mean, that girl that was talking about me in the bathroom, I mean, it wasn't a compliment.
But yeah, you can take it as a compliment.
I'll take it as, I did take it as one, even though I know she didn't mean it as one. But
Yeah. Because another thing is comparison, because
right.
not even two journeys are together. Even when I was dealing with something last year, I'm not dealing it this year. So it's always growing and expanding inside of our journey. So wanting to go through exactly what you did, it's not gonna, you know,
right.
or show the light on my path, because you can call it karma or whatever, because you know I have different paths, I had different conversations, I had different scenarios in my life, and we are all so different. So
right. I love that. I had one time he said, well, I don't get spiritual messages like you do. And I go, and you won't with that attitude. I mean, how are you supposed to receive abundance, or, you know, receive this energy if you're resisting it?
yes,
You know, it doesn't work like that. And no, it's not going to be, you're not going to receive messages just like me. You're going to receive messages just like you.
yes, exactly.
And being open to that, you know, I feel like we're taught to not change, and that's not what we're here for. I mean, I feel like too many people have accepted this eat, sleep, work, and die routine, and not questioning, what are humans really doing here? What are we here for? You
And
know?
my intention of having this conversation is, it's not for everybody, right?
No.
It's
True.
it's for those that they are really digging, and they think that they are alone, and they think there is no other way, or how can I have this conversation, how can I tell people, you know, what I feel, or as you said, like as a child I could see people that what they say is not the truth, but as a child I had no access to accepting, so I grew up not trusting the adult, because I knew intuitively what they are saying is not the truth, but I had no access to it. And then gradually over time, over my journey, I learned that what they are saying is the truth for them. They might know another couple years that was not the truth. I knew because, somehow I was living way in the future, like seeing people in different layers, like different timelines. And I don't want to get into that again because it's another conversation by itself. I was talking to my good friend Delphine, and we were just talking about the 0 point, and we were just getting deeper and deeper. And she said, I think we're going to have the second episode because it's just so deep. If we want to go there, we just need to have like another episode. So different timelines and all that, it can be our second conversation. We can go deeper.
Yes,
because,
we need to.
it's like never ending conversations when we get to the spirit world. It's just no time, no place.
Right.
Yes. So if you want to say, as I said, for respect to your time and the time that people are listening to our conversation, if you want to just say one thing, or how you gonna encourage people to tap into their own healing.
So, if I may, I'd just like to share a little story about this young man that I met at the gym the other day, which I feel like kind of explains this in a nutshell. He had a pendant that had a symbol on it, and I asked him what the symbol was, and he said it was a sigil of Lucifer. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting, and he said, well, most people don't ask me about it, and if they do, they become afraid of me. And so I was like, do you mind if I just, I'd love to hear more about, what drew you to Lucifer? And he explained how Lucifer is the bearer of light, but also of destruction. And it very aligns with the whole death rebirth thing that I do in my ceremonies. And I asked him, I said, do you believe that people should do black magic, even if it's at the detriment to someone else? He said, I don't know if I believe in magic. And I said, do you think magic and spirituality are one and the same? And he said, yes, I do. And I said, what about the placebo effect? And he goes, whoa, wait a minute. So that's something that everybody knows about. Everybody understands what the placebo effect is. And if you're struggling with what direction to go or how to believe in frequency and energy and all these things that we can't see, the placebo effect is an absolute perfect example of how to align with that magic, that spirituality. And what you're doing is you're aligning with your own spirit. And the more you align with your own spirit, the more positive abundance you receive, and the happier and better that you feel, and the more you get what you want. So align with your spirit, align with nature, align with magic. Use that placebo effect to your advantage.
Yes, that's so true.
And fill up your heart.
Yes. And I think I mentioned that one of the reasons or intention I have is just like have the heart to lead us rather than the logic and the mind, but drop into the heart and see what's really true for us. So thank you so much for dropping me and us to the heart. And I am so grateful for this time. Hopefully we can get together again soon and
yes,
talk.
I love you so much. Thank you. And thank you everybody for watching.
Yes, for sure. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.